This is Scott Ertz with F5 Live Refreshing Technology. We were recently at the Mahaffey Theater in St. Petersburg, Florida, where the Florida Orchestra presented the North American premiere of Replay, Symphony of Heroes, an orchestrated video game concert. I'm here with Jason Michael Paul, the executive producer of the show, and so how did you get into this?
It's a little bit of, I guess I could start with a synopsis or a shorter version of the chronology here, but it pretty much started in 2004 with Final Fantasy, and that was the first ever video game music concert stateside in the U.S., and that was really the beginning of the video game music phenomenon, video game music concerts that we have here today. And I've been doing it ever since 2004. Wow, I'm getting old. It's 2014, so over a decade of video game music concerts.
So, what brought on video game music as opposed to doing a more traditional concert style?
Yeah, well, my background, I used to work with Luciano Pavarotti and the Three Tenors and a lot of other world-class artists, and I had been working in the video game industry since I was young. My first job out of college was in the video game industry, and of course, being a gamer and having played video games, I always had an appreciation for the music. I just didn't quite know, at the time I didn't really have the idea of having concerts, but I was doing a Luciano Pavarotti concert in Costa Rica, and I was working very closely with Square Enix at the time, the makers of Final Fantasy, and I kind of had an epiphany. I had this wonderful, I was doing a stadium show in Costa Rica, and I had this amazing sound system that we were using, and I had one of the soundtracks from Final Fantasy, and I just put it through and was pumping it through this PA, and of course everyone was like, "What the heck is this? Like what are you playing?" And it just happened to be One Winged Angel, and it was totally it was a lot of battle music, and,
right.
And it was very very bombastic and amazing, and I was like, and I kind of just was like, I want to do a concert with Final Fantasy, and that was really just the beginning. That was where the idea came to me, and I knew they were doing concerts in Japan, not with visuals, but with just the music, and Tokyo Philharmonic was performing the music, and so I was like, and of course my relationship with Square Enix, I had a very good relationship, and I was very tight with the president of the company, and I told him I had this idea, and that was really the beginning, and they agreed, and next thing you know, I'm producing a concert during E3, Final Fantasy, working with Hironobu Sakaguchi and Uematsu-san, of course, the composer of Final Fantasy and many other games now, but and then of course Amano-san, the illustrator. So that was just really just a wonderful accomplishment, and clearly paved the way for video game music concerts.
Absolutely, and it's interesting because when we've done productions, and even here at Mahaffey Theater,
yeah.
One of the things we do is we use video game music as our test music for sound systems, because they big highs, big lows, it makes sense. So I can see how that would be an inspiration for it.
Yeah, it was really an inspiration. It's kind of a story that I don't, I've told it so many times now, but really it was, it really was just an epiphany kind of moment, where like, this is something that no one else is doing, and I want to be the first to do it. And, God bless, Square Enix, giving me the opportunity to really do it, because here I am, since then, having produced the Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses tour, the 25th anniversary concerts, produced the orchestral CD that was released with Skyward Sword, all these amazing projects that I've been so privileged and fortunate enough to be a part of, and to be really the guy, doing it and making it happen. It's just a blessing.
And you really are like the guy when it comes to it. We've actually written and talked about on our show your stuff before, not knowing you, or that you were the one I was going to get to talk to tonight. So that's really cool.
I kind of have a low profile, I'm not really the guy who's really, I kind of wish that I was the PR machine, like some of these other people who get a lot of notoriety and are more of kind of self-professed people that are really making it happen. I kind of wish I was like that, but I'm not. You know, I guess I'm just really busy and trying to, you know, to plan shows and get more shows, and I'm really more of a business kind of guy. And but I definitely, this show has really been a labor of love and a lot of hands-on. I'm kind of getting back to my roots, to where I really started, and really kind of really doing a lot of the work again. And we hear the rehearsal right now with Final Fantasy. How fitting is that? Yeah, this is, you know, so I've been doing it a long time, you know, and you know, really I'm at a point in my career where, you know, I want to continue to do this, you know, and I want to continue to let people know. I mean, the biggest hurdle that we have to overcome is really people knowing about this. You know, like you said yourself, like you've been talking about these projects, but yet you didn't know who was really responsible for it. Well, that might be a good start to really see what else other projects I have going on. You know, like for instance, this concert. You know, like I'm sure a lot of people out there, you know, who are tuning in probably didn't even know that this concert was existing tonight. You know, and that's really a frustration of mine. You know, it's like I'm doing this. You know, this is a 69-piece orchestra, a 31-voice choir. You know, I mean, amazingly talented conductor, Amy. Her maiden name is Kreisberg, but it's actually Amy Anderson. Her married name is Kreisberg, but her maiden name is Anderson, which she goes by. So that was the reason. But she's an amazing conductor in her own right. Operatic conductor, and also a classical symphony conductor, and she's amazing, and really just a talented group of people. So to bring them to the stage tonight, I'm really excited.
So for people maybe not here tonight, but around the country or around the world who are planning on seeing this show, hopefully because of seeing this conversation,
Atlanta, June 13th.
What can they expect? What is the show?
Yeah. Well, this show is different. I mean, I've done a lot of different types of shows, mostly just very forward presentations with just, you know, like for instance, the Final Fantasy show was more or less just the greatest hits, you know, like kind of like a greatest hits multimedia experience with Final Fantasy. And then of course, one of the signature traits of my show is that I really focus or feature the orchestra through IMAG. I really give the members of the orchestra their time to shine, so to speak, and then also really try to serve as an educational, you know, an educational type thing for the orchestra, or for the audience members, so they can really see what is that sound, what is making that sound, what is eliciting that sound, you know, like. Cool. And so that's a signature thing that's always been a part of every show that I do. And then of course, you know, with Play, this is the reboot of Play. Play was really just the greatest hits, okay. More or less. You know, with some MC commentary, you know, really just taking you on this kind of this epic journey of, you know, video game music, new and old, you know, and really having relevance, having guest appearances by, you know, like for instance Koji Kondo or Uematsu, you know, which just reminded me about another project that I did called More Friends, music from Final Fantasy, which you guys may or may not be familiar with. But I did that recording too.
Okay.
I recorded that. That was a live show that I did with the Black Mages in Uematsu. That was another project, and I did kind of like, I got the idea from Metallica and San Francisco Symphony. So I had Uematsu's rock band performing with the members of the Local 47, which is all the people who do the soundtracks in LA for all the major scoring. Yeah. Anyways, that just came to me. I forgot about that. But you know, so I've ran that thing where it's like more of a straightforward kind of greatest hits, and then of course with Symphony of the Goddesses, well, the 25th anniversary concerts were more or less just a straight kind of greatest hits thing, you know, more or less just kind of a commemorative kind of concert edition, right, where it's like taking all the great, you know, all the medleys, you know, all the themes, and then of course with the Symphony of the Goddesses, season 1 and then Second Quest, that was different. We approached that differently, where we did a 4-movement symphony, and then we sprinkled in kind of like, you know, the greatest hits, if you will. Sure. You know, but that was really really cool, and we thought that that was worked out very well. And of course, that was the first concert where we had a hard sync with the visual and the music, whereas before it was a little bit of a loose sync.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't. So I always wanted to do a hard sync, and that was where we were with Zelda, which it just worked beautifully. And then so here we are with this new show, Replay, which is a reboot of Play, a video game symphony, Replay Symphony of Heroes, where I wanted to be, you know, I really like the element of storytelling.
Okay.
And so I wanted to focus on really telling a story. And so what we did is we kind of borrowed from Joseph Campbell what's called the monomyth. And it's it's the hero's journey. And so that's where we came with the Symphony of Heroes. And so we've taken that monomyth and that overarching theme, and we've incorporated that into 17 chapters, and we've actually that hero's journey, we plugged in for each chapter a fitting video game with that like I said, the call of arms, the return from battle, and then of course I like the idea of having the Miguel Carrington, the voice, to provide that voice, that kind of that narration, if you will, to add that element of this storytelling. And what's cool is that we also have all the visuals in sync with the music. So we have all these things going on. This experience of kind of really immersing you into this story, and then of course we have all these epic video games, and really a lot of new stuff that I hadn't really worked on. It's brand new. You know, Journey, Portal, BioShock. These are all new games that we've provided for this concert with new arrangements that have never been heard before as part of this concert. Working with Gary Scheinman from BioShock, you know, like he's contributing, and we're working with him very closely. And so I think we really outdid ourselves with this particular presentation. And then of course, as I said earlier, having the segments where we have the orchestra as part of that. So we're cutting between gameplay, you know, FMVs, IMAG with the orchestra, and then we have these amazing backgrounds that we've created. You know, so you know, I'm really proud of this show. I'm really happy with it. Now I just need to make sure that everyone across the land gets the opportunity to see it.
Well, hopefully we can help bring some awareness to the show, because
Uh-huh.
I'm really excited about it. We were, you know, doing our final, making sure we knew what we had gotten into earlier today, and we saw Portal, and like, okay, we're in. That's it. That's all I needed.
that piece is done very well. It's really exciting. That piece turned out fabulous, and you know, we also have, you know, I'm a really big fan of the BioShock segment of the show. It just turned out amazing, and I'm gonna leave it as a surprise. But the piano in that, I'm sure if you're familiar with the game, you know, you're gonna really dig it.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to it now.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing it too. This is one show, like between, you know, a lot of times as a producer, I've done hundreds of shows in my lifetime, you know, and a lot of times I don't like to watch my own shows. It's always been, but I've kind of eased into the idea of actually watching my own shows now, which is kind of fun. You know, I mean, naturally you see a lot of little things that no one else notices, but I've actually come to enjoy the experience of watching my own shows now, because they're tight, you know, they're tight, and they're everything that I kind of, now that I've had so much experience doing this, I kind of know what I'm doing now, so I can really make it good.
So we're sitting here at Mahaffey Theater in St. Pete for the North American premiere of the show.
Absolutely.
How did we end up with the North American premiere of what I can only imagine is going to be an incredible show here at Mahaffey? You
know, it's you know, I tip my hat off to the programmers, the artistic programming for the Florida Orchestra. You know, I mean, they're a very progressive, forward-thinking orchestra. They have a young personnel that is in charge of making decisions here, and that's really why the Mahaffey and the Florida Orchestra is the North American premiere. So this is the type of, you know, these are the types of organizations that really give video game music and other more relevant music the opportunity to shine.
Well, being a lifelong resident of Pinellas County, I am pretty excited that we're premiering it here and that we're going to get the opportunity to be here.
I'm excited too. You know, I'm from the Bay. I'm from the Bay Area in San Francisco.
Okay.
I was kind of
the other Bay Area.
Yeah, and I was like seeing like. I was watching a newscast and they were talking about the Bay. I was like, I'm not in San Francisco. I kind of put it together. I was like, this is the Bay Area of, of Florida.
It's funny because when we're in California, we get thrown off when they talk about the Bay Area. I'm like, why are you? Oh, right, San Francisco's here. I got it.
Yeah. So, of course, we have the South Bay, the North Bay, East Bay, and then of course the San Francisco Bay. And anyways.
We have a road called East Bay.
That's cool. Hopefully it doesn't lead to nowhere.
No.
Okay.
Leads to here, actually.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
It's my pleasure. Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to seeing the show.
Great. Well, if I could just plug, the websites. I might as well. We have. I have Replay, which is replay-symphony.com, Zelda-symphony.com. And also my own, my company website, which is jnppresents.com. So if you're ever curious or, you want to, or you could even follow us on Facebook or Twitter, we're very active socially. Cool. We really rely on word of mouth and people really spreading the word.
Well, we will certainly help you with that, and I look forward to seeing the show.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Right on.
For more information about the performance and to find out if it's coming to a city near you, check out replay-symphony.com.